All right, welcome to Vertex of a Parabola, Part 1. And as you can see, I've written a quadratic function in general form, so not the best form. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of take this very general quadratic function, and we're going to rearrange it into standard form, and then we're going to try to identify what exactly is the vertex. Where's the vertex in a kind of a general way? And you know what? It's going to save us a lot of work later on, because if we're looking at a function that's in general form, we can right away identify what the vertex is without kind of going through this process each and every time. So it's kind of a shortcut in the long run, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let's start off. So I'm going to take this thing here, and I'm going to factor out a. So this is just like rearranging it into standard form. Okay, and right away I run into a bit of a problem here. So I'm going to use that same trick. I'm going to put a on the bottom, and I want to end up with bx. So I'm going to put b on the top. Okay, I'm going to leave a little space, and then I got plus c. Okay, so there's my first step. Now I want to complete the square. So over here, let's have a little look. We need half of b over a. Okay, so half of b over a, which is b over 2a. And we want to take that and we want to square it. Okay, so b over 2a squared. So that is b squared all over 4a squared. Okay, so that's what I've got to put in here that will complete the square. So plus b squared over 4a squared. All right, so I put that in there, but now I got to compensate. So let's just separate this. So what number did I actually put in? Well, there's an a out in front that multiplies this, completing the square fraction. So let's have a look what we actually have here. We have a times b squared all over 4a squared. So if I simplify this a little bit, there's an a out in front that I can cancel with an a on the bottom. And that leaves me with b squared all over 4a. So this is what I put in. So that means I got to take one of those out to compensate. Okay, so b squared all over 4a. All right, it looks pretty messy, but it's actually making a lot of logical sense, because now I can factor this little guy, and I'm just going to leave this other mess, rather than to try to combine it, which we could, but you don't really gain anything by doing that. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And what do we have here? Well, we have x plus, and now I need something times itself that gives me this b squared over 4a squared. So that's going to be b all over 2a. All right, so there it is in standard form. But the whole goal here was we're going to find where the vertex is. So we better write out where the vertex is. So, okay, so where is that vertex? Well, what would make the stuff in brackets turn to 0? Well, if x was negative b over 2a. If you stuff negative b over 2a in for the x, then it would add to b over 2a and turn to 0, and that's perfect. Okay, and what about the y coordinate of our vertex? Well, if we stuff this in, this all turns to 0. So the whole front half of this function turns to 0, and you're left with these little guys at the end, which is c minus b squared over 4a. Now it looks a wee bit messy, but let me show you with an example that this actually does speed things up. So we're going to take an example where we really just care about finding the vertex. We don't want to do a lot of fancy stuff. Maybe we don't even want to graph it. Just want the vertex. So this formula is going to kick in and do us a real service. So let's take a function, something like 3x squared, okay, minus 5x plus 7. Okay. Now, if I want to use that little formula for the vertex, so I'm going to write it over here. Negative b over 2a, and then we had c minus b squared over 4a. Okay. Notice the importance here. You got to know what's a, what's b, and what's c. So maybe the first thing you would do is say, well, a is the number in front of x squared, so that's 3. B is the number in front of the x, so that's negative 5. And c is the constant at the end, which is positive 7. Well, now I can go straight into the vertex. I can say, well, it's going to be negative b. Okay, so notice it's a negative 5, so just be careful there. And then you got that over 2 times a. Okay, well, that doesn't look too bad. And then I got c, so 7 minus b squared, so that's negative 5 squared, all over 4 times a, 4 times 12. Sorry, 4 times 3. Thinking out loud here. Okay, so what do we got now? We got a positive 5 over 6. Okay, well, that wasn't so bad. And then over here, a little bit more to simplify. We got 7 minus, and we're going to have 25 on the top over 12 on the bottom. And to combine these guys, it is worth it now because we actually do have just a bunch of numbers. So I'm going to turn this into a fraction and make a common denominator. So I'm going to times the top and bottom by 12. Okay, so what do we got? Our vertex looks like this. We got 5/6, comma, and then here we got, it looks like 84 over 12 minus 25 over 12. And of course now we can combine those for our final answer. The vertex is at 5 over 6. And then 84 take away 25 is 59/12. And there it is. I mean, a little bit of number crunching here, but not too bad. And we didn't really have to do a lot of thinking. We basically just jumped right in, figured out A, B, and C, and went to work. And then it was just kind of number crunching. So it is a very useful formula. And that's where I'm going to stop